I'm going to talk a little bit about Luis J. Rodriguez's 1991 poetry collection, The Concrete River. As we know, Rodriguez is our LA Poet Laureate. A lot of people have read his book, Always Running, which is a bona fide classic. And well, this poetry collection, I think, is outstanding. And there are a lot of great poems in it. If I had to pick a couple that I would say to read, the title poem, The Concrete River, Watts Bleeds is an amazing poem. I mean, they're also great. I'd also say definitely read The Quest for Flight. Definitely read Diachucha. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. Read the entire collection. I wanted to talk about a particular poem called The 29th, which is an account of the Chicano moratorium in 1970. It's called The 29th. And I'm just going to read just a couple of sentences from the first paragraph that I think are very important. And if you don't know what the Chicano moratorium was, you should definitely look that up. That's an important part of um, history. Young kid who sort of goes to the demonstration and begins to speak about um, his personal experiences and observation. Here's a line from the beginning of the poem. I hadn't been fully aware of my own sense of outrage until, melding with other marchers, I found myself raising a fist in the air. The thrust of this here, at this beginning, is that the anger, right, and the political outrage is not individual. It's not individuated to this one person. It's there and it's collective. Until I found myself raising a fist in the air. Like pay attention to the difference between active and passive lines, right? Instead of saying I raised my fist in the air, it's I found myself raising a fist in the air. Now, a lot of people might read this as sort of demonstrating a lack of agency or lack of purpose. I would argue that yes, but in a good way, in a way that transcends just the individual anger, the individual action, right? He became melded, right? It doesn't say I hadn't been aware until I mixed with the other marchers or until I was alongside the other marchers. It says I hadn't been aware of my own sense of outrage until melding with other marchers, literally losing his own individuality within the other marchers, melding. So I'm arguing that, or I'm suggesting that there's a de-individuation, an important political de-individuation that's being expressed here. The end of the this one first paragraph has this line: I had no idea how significant the protests would be. Frankly, I had only come to party. Now, one might think, in reading this, that this suggests a sort of kid that just didn't really know what he was doing or getting himself into. But I would also say that the impulse of the 16-year-old to join, to party, to want to party, right? To engage in a collective exuberance and joy with other people is not antithetical to the sort of utopian impulses of a collective demonstration. Yes, he had only come to party. Perhaps he didn't have conscious political awareness, or he didn't have a, a set of political ideals to bring to this consciously. But obviously, once there, once embroiled in the collectivity, in the outrage, right? That's not limited to the individual, or not even limited to one having a eloquent political articulation. Still, it's tapping into a collective utopian impulse that changes the speaker, right? This first paragraph of this prose poem is a demonstration of a change in the speaker beyond individuation, right? Which some might argue is a sort of essence of all political activity. And the very next paragraph, the first line is, we continued past stretches of furniture stores, used car lots, and cemeteries, right? So again, it shifts to the we Now, the speaker sees himself as part of a collective, as part of a we. And I think that little shift that happens, right, is an important aspect of what this poem is doing. And the rest of the poem is equally brilliant, with first-hand accounts of police brutality. But yes, The Concrete River, brilliant collection, and in particular, pay attention to the prose poems in this collection because they're very good, very good.